Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter. Today, we are going to be revisiting and celebrating a service hero that I featured a little while ago. Someone that I call Coach. Someone that definitely has my heart and has my back, can I say too. This man is truly special. Yes, that's his name. Yet. Yeah, and I know everybody goes there. Yet. I can say that for a fact because I got to work with him very closely during a competition that was all about what we need today, and that is change in our world. Those people that are willing to step up and make an impact, and it was called the Next Impactor. Coach Todd decided to put his hat in the ring to be one of five top international coaches to be able to say, I will be there, I will help build a team, and then I will be there to help the very first Global Next Impactor to do that, make a difference. You, my friend, Todd Speciale, are very special to me, and this is a special Service Hero Show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I can't thank you enough. I love watching what you do. I'm a huge Chemo Buddies fan, and I will definitely be supporting you every day for the rest of my life, as you know. So I'm honored to be here. Wouldn't miss it.
Well, thank you very much. And we're going to welcome, as we get going here, I want to welcome those that have stopped in already. We have some of the Chemo Buddies themselves, Helene Wilson, who has just become our ambassador of our evening chat. Welcome, Ambassador Wilson. One of my buddies also. We also have Julie Dominguez. She is one of the Misfit Nations, also a service hero out there helping those teachers make a difference while we are in a unique period of time when it comes to school. We have Raquel Johnson. Great to have you with us, Raquel. Christopher D. Kaysen is in the house. Always love it when you're here. Let's talk. Todd, let's bring some people up to speed on who you are and what it is that we were able to do together. You joined the Next Impactor as one of 5 top coaches, and I mean, seriously, top coaches from around the world, international coaches, with different specialties. And they came to you with this idea. What did you think of it in the very beginning?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know Lauren Harris and those guys at all. They're unbelievable souls. Everything they do is for the good of people, which is a nice thing. But I thought the idea was great. I don't think anyone, including Lauren and his partner, knew that this was going to be as extensive of a competition as it was. I mean, I don't think none of us did. I mean, we signed up and we said, hey, listen, we'd want you to be a coach. And at that time, I was definitely the least experienced as far as tenure is concerned, as being a top coach. So to go up against guys like Jay Sis and Vicky and everybody else that was there, Melissa and more is it's intimidating at times because these guys have done some amazing things. Now, I don't get intimidated easy, but when I came to the challenge, they said, listen, this is what's going to happen. We're going to break it down. I think new things added every single month, which made it more of a difficult competition. It was weekly. I mean, they would spring things on you guys. And we all, I think how I led. I led my team by, you need to do everything that you can to be as successful as you can. But don't kill yourself over the competition. You know what I mean? You need to live your lives, and time with family comes first and foremost. So having the luxury of working with the people that I did on my team, I think we created that bond of just a family atmosphere right away. To me, that just took the competition to another level. I mean, I saw you step up in so many ways. There's so many people on there that stepped up in so many ways that just really helped each other kind of rise when we were in tough scenarios. I mean, there was people on the teams that had to drop out and then come back on and then had to, we all kind of did what we could. But the competition itself, amazing competition. With the hundreds of people that joined touched thousands of lives, which is the most important thing. I mean, we talk about service hero. There was hundreds of service heroes there. Christopher Kaysen, who's on here, he's a superhero. He's just a stud, and he helps people do it every single day. The people that you have on here, like, I mean, look, if you talk about like Julie Dominguez, an awesome individual, is always there supporting people online. Rachel Johnson, just amazing people. You've got great followers. to earn those followers takes dedication and success into serving people. And that's something that you did the best, which is when you won, it was well deserved. And I was very, very fortunate to be by your side, because that was all you. The guidance was there, but you took everything to another level. So it was an awesome experience.
It was incredible. And I will say to those that were involved, all that were involved, those that put their hat in the ring that didn't even make it to the top 50, I want to say congratulations to those, because the bottom line is this, and this is what I loved about it. And I didn't know what it was either. Quite honestly, nothing against you, my dear coach. I love you dearly. You know that. But when I saw that Jason Cisneros was involved, because he had been working with Kat Dawn, I knew Kat Dawn. I knew her before I even knew who Jason was. Sure. And I watched, because of her nonprofit, I watched them work together. So when I saw that he was involved, and I had been told there's this thing, and quite honestly, I had no idea what this thing was, but you can win Jason Cisneros. I thought, okay, I'm in. Whatever it is, I'm there. And it took a while for it to get its wings, and it did twist and turn, and they had assured us it would. It did. And in the end, all of those that originally said, yes, I'm interested, all hundreds of people throughout the world, they were people with a cause, something that they felt they could go and impact not only their region, but the world, because that's what this was all about. And so many people have now connected afterwards, and they are doing that together. And that's a genius of something like this. And I do believe it's the culture that was created by our coaches and by the contestants, though we were contestants against time. And we're going to talk about that word here in a little bit, but that not against each other. It was against time. So I want to say thank you for being there by my side, because you literally were there when I heard that word.
I was about 30 pounds heavier there, but I was there.
And yeah, okay, we'll talk about that too, because you've been on quite the mission in the last little bit, and I love what you're doing, everything about it. And that's why I wanted to bring you on. And anybody that knows this show knows that before I used to give it a number, because it's 365 days of awesome. So where did it fall? Where did the service hero fall in that number? Now I am giving it the date. Today is April the 17th, 2020, and we are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic called COVID, the thing that Jason says, the thing we shall not name. However, it's a matter of how we show up to it that makes a difference. And that's what I want to talk about now, is really showing up. Your background, we're going to go into your background first, and then we'll show up to the current. Your background is one that you are an excellent, expert salesperson. I mean, that's you. When you were at Unstoppable and you were up on that stage, I was so proud. First of all, first speaker up, my coach, Coach Todd, and it's like, yes, all right, I know that guy. I won him.
Very true.
I have fun with that word, that phrase. Okay, so you were up there, and this was about giving value at Unstoppable. And that is what we all received while we were there. And plus, Jason likes to say, and it was the very last open event pretty much in the world that anybody could receive anything. But all the speakers that were there to give value. You were first up, and you hit the ball out of the park with what it is that you shared. And you shared your world. Let's go a little bit into that, and so people can see who it is that the skills you brought as a coach to the Next Impactor.
Yeah, so there's so many people that question their ability to sell, or am I in sales? And everybody is. I mean, you're trying to sell 365 days of service superheroes. You know what I mean? That's sale. That's selling. You're getting self-promotion from this. That's not why you do it, but you're getting self-promotion from this by putting yourself out there, which is very important. But when you realize that we're all in sales, it's the little tips and tricks and secrets of honesty that allow you to win. And I think right now, when you're dealing in sales and someone says, I'm a salesperson, people go, oh, God, there's another salesperson. Someone else is going to lie or cheat or steal or, rip me off, whatever. When all I wanted to do was to let people know it's the honesty in sales that actually gets you to sell more. So as far as the skills I brought to Next Impactor, I mean, look, I want to say this: the people I worked with are just as skilled, if not more skilled than me. I am a good coach to help lift people up and get them in the right mindset. When I teach people to sell, and I teach people to grow, and I teach people to open their horizons on what they can accomplish, sales is a very, 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 very big portion of your life. And so many people say, I'm not good at sales. I mean, they can be. Anybody can sell. They really can. So what I want to do is bring some, like, sell your idea to me. Go out there and talk. You want to touch lives, and you really mentioned it best. Of the hundreds of people that didn't make it to the top, 20, let's just call it whatever, top 25. Let's call it what it is. Okay. They impacted lives, period. Okay. They came up with an idea. There was things that they had to do. That was their own idea. You guys had to pick a nonprofit. There was so much that we had to do to really just touch lives. That a lot of that is sales. You need to sell people on why they should choose your nonprofit. You need to sell people on why they should work with you. You need to sell me on why you need to be the next impactor and somebody else didn't win, right? So, I like to tell people that everybody's in sales. The little tricks and they're not tricks, they're honesty, and that's what I tell people. So I think the world's losing that. And, you look at all the top sales trainers in the world right now, there's some great powerhouses. They talk about like hardcore closer and how to be this and how to be that. Listen, they've all got great information. How you present that information is how you win. But what we're missing right now is the honesty, motivation, and empathy in sales that actually made sales an unbelievable job. I mean, you can make more money in sales than you can in any other position in your entire life. And when you have a business and you're a coach and you have a nonprofit, you're selling. So I think it's really important that people understand and learn that skill, because if they don't, it's going to be very difficult to continue to rise on an increased level if you don't understand how to sell what you're trying to put into the world. So that was what I did, because to be honest with you, the every Sunday now at 8 p.m. I do a live, just free sales training. On Wednesdays, which I'm going to move to 8 p.m., I do more of a life kind of training, right? How to habits of gratitude and all sorts of stuff. My coach, I have a coach, and my coach is Danelle Delgado, right? And Danelle is an unbelievable soul. And, before I didn't go live, you knew that, right? I would post my things up and I would talk to some different people, but I would never go live. And I didn't really feel like I had to at the time because, I was comfortable, I was complacent. She challenged me to start doing that. And better than anybody, what's the hardest part about going live? Is anyone going to watch? Is there going to be 4 people watching, or is there going to be, 400? What people don't realize is that to have 30 people watch a live in your network for over 22 minutes, which is the average time span that they pay attention, is very difficult. And in my first live, I was very fortunate to have 60, 70, 80, 90. We got up over 100. We had over 1,000 comments, 110 shares. And that was the unbelievable service of people supporting me in what I do. It had nothing to do with the information I was giving. At that point, it was people just saying, hey, wait, Todd's going live. Let's hear what he has to say, and let's share it to the world. That to me is service at a no cost benefit, which is a pretty cool thing.
That and thank you for sharing all of that. And there's so many pearls of wisdom there, guys. I mean, break that down. In fact, rewind. When you're watching this in first hashtag live, hashtag replay. But when you're on replay, stop it and go back. Listen to everything he just said, because 22 minutes, how do you get an audience? How do you do all of those things? And so that you can then impact what it is that you are, your message, what is it that you're out there doing? And we have Jason Cisneros in the house. Love you too, Coach Jason.
Absolute powerhouse, one of the best people you could ever know. Great guy.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And I love it. Isn't it kind of fun that when there's all these little love fests going on? All right. So, you were talking about the way that you look at life. And I want to go into this. Okay. The master I've mastered the art of bouncing back. And now I just need to master the art of not having to. I think a lot of people right now can totally get that. And
Yeah.
I want to bring up another image here that is really important. And it's like I have gotten to know your father through the posts and the pictures and everything you've shared about this amazing, humble, loving man. You can just see it in his face. And you've gained a lot of your life lessons from your family, haven't you?
Yeah. So I get emotional every time I see the picture. Sorry.
Okay. I do too, quite honestly. I really do. Whenever I see a new post with you and your father, it immediately, just to let you know, it immediately draws me in. And I not only read it, I read it a few times, and then I will actually stay there for a few moments and draw in the emotions.
Yeah.
I actually do. That is my pattern. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, because it is such an incredible love, unconditional love and wisdom. And then you share what he's taught you over a period of time in these posts. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about
So, it's, my dad and I had a very, very good bond, and I know that some of you can see the emotion in my eyes now, but he's still my best friend. I know he's looking down and he's helping me and proud of me and just wants me to continue to move forward. But, that post, I've mastered the art of bouncing back. Now I want to master the art of not having to. One thing that I've learned is that when you have your back against the wall, some people thrive that way and some don't. Some actually just kind of, just give up. Some say, man, this is way too hard. With cancer and everything that you've done to overcome that, it's an unbelievable story. You look at Danelle. Danelle had cancer more than once as well, so she is an unbelievable champion that's beat it. Jason Cisneros, what he went through as a child in his life and the absolute horrific things that he had to endure as a child. There's so much that people, when they have their back against the wall, they thrive. That's been me, right? My entire life. And I want to give a shout out to Paul Blanchard, because Paul Blanchard is a absolute dear friend of mine. And, he's an unbelievable soul and probably one of the smartest people you will ever meet in your entire life, and I truly mean that, on another level, and Paul basically, broke some things down for me when he gave me kind of synopsis of Todd Speciale. He said, dude, you've lived your life since you were 15 years old with your back against the wall, and you thrive that way. But I want you to think about, if you didn't have to have your back against the wall, how much further you would go. Because what we do in a life cycle is we continue to do the same things that we're used to doing, and we put ourselves in tough situations. Like me, I start making a lot more money. Guess what I do? I spend more. So what happens? Now my back's still against the wall. I'm making more money, and I have just as much money in the bank as I did when I was broke. So I tell people that life cycle has got to change. And learning stuff like that from like a guy like Paul Blanchard and having coaches like Jason and Danelle and these people that have been in my lives that are just powerhouse individuals, what it's taught me is this, is I have to have a mission every day like you do to serve. If it's through a post, if it's through a live that I do, whatever, you have to have a mission to serve. And it's funny because in sales, I teach people, when you learn to change the mindset from I have to get this deal to I want to help this individual, you start closing so many more deals because it comes from a help standpoint rather than look like you want the deal. So for me, when I post about my father was the richest, my mom and dad both. My mom's an amazing woman. She's beat cancer 3 times as well. Unbelievable woman. And my mom basically is still healthy and fighting today, knock on wood. She hasn't left her home in a month because of this COVID thing, because she's 77, but I got to tell you, unbelievable strength in her soul to do what she did and fight for my father and us throughout our lives. But she's the same way. We didn't have a ton of money. And my mom actually called me about 2 weeks ago. And she goes, I wish you'd stop saying we didn't have a lot of money growing up online, And I said, Mom, you have to understand where I'm coming from. It's not a bad thing that we weren't living in a mansion, okay? It's not a bad thing how we grew up. You provided a home. You provided more love than any child could ever have, which I got to tell you, there are way more people in the world will take the love rather than love than the money in 5 seconds, right?
Right.
So I said, and that's why I always say, you guys were the richest people in love. I said, there wasn't a time. I was talking to Nell the other day. My father and mother would never let me leave the house as a kid. If I walked out, they'd call me and tell me to come back in if I didn't give them a hug and a kiss goodbye.
Oh,
talk about time.
I love that.
Oh, they cherished moments, and hardcore Italian family. My mom's Irish. I'm Irish and Italian, and my mom used to come. She said, "You don't leave this house ever without giving us a hug and a kiss," because, and I know we're going to get into time, but they said tomorrow's never promised. You will never leave our sight without having massive love. And when my dad left, that's what he left me. So.
And when I see this, the moment you realize it's okay to say I deserve this and not feeling guilty about it wins on all levels. And, I'm thinking the love, everything you just shared right there. We deserve this. It's all levels. And that's what I love about your balanced approach as a coach. That was the thing that I really, and there was no doubt in my mind that it was divine that I was on your team, because right. I needed all the lessons I learned. And we know I learned a lot of them on them. And we all are always learning. But boy, guys, truthfully, I learned so many lessons from so many different ways being on Coach Todd's team. And I'm forever grateful for that. Now I want to go into, I want to say a couple things in regards to time, and I want to couple it with a couple of these, and I actually printed them off because I wanted to be able to read them with you, but I'm going to bring them up that I thought that they were just so appropriate, because the time now that we're living in, the times that we're living in, we have choices how we can stand up to today. Mm-hmm. We can either say, okay, I'm this is kind of funny, given before we went live, I'm going to sit there on my couch, I'm going to eat potato chips, and I'm just going to chill all day long. Or I'm going to show up, I'm going to make a difference, I'm going to, whatever that may be, and however that may look. And so when I read this, and both of these, I'm just going to put them both up here. That the one underneath me, when you can respect yourself enough on tough situations and actually begin to take responsibility for the choices you've made rather than playing the victim or get defensive, that is courage. And when shit starts to get real, I said it. People probably wondered if I would. I said it. When shit starts to get real, there we go. And because we need to be real about what we're in right now. And some people call it the poopy barrel. Some people say, it stinks. All of the stuff, but it is real. And then I'm going to back it up, and then we're going to talk about this. I need to say this. I'm beyond proud of the newsfeed changing from COVID crisis to family photos playing together and people remembering what they're most grateful for. As serious as this is, I think we needed this reset to reconnect to what matters most. Now, I pulled those up. I wanted to read them word for word because I believe there's so much value in both of these. Because you're saying here, okay, let's be real. This is real. This is, but we can either spend our time feeling woe is me, licking our wounds, feeling like the victim, or we can get the courage. And I think of the Cowardly Lion. I think of Wizard of Oz. I always do. I bring that up a lot. We had that courage all along. Cowardly Lion, I had it all along. It just needed a little bit of magic from the man behind the curtain. That was a man, but he gave a lot of magic to that man behind the curtain. And oftentimes that's what we're doing, aren't we? We're giving our control, our courage, we're giving our heart, our minds, our souls to those people behind the curtain. And yet, truthfully, we've had all of this all along. And that's what you're out there letting us all realize with what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah. It's, it's both of those were, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when I do those like little messages that I put up, I think of it, the first thing that comes to my mind in the morning, and I write it. That's it. I don't prepare it the night before. I don't do any of that because I want to be as authentic as I can be always. Number one, if I can teach you guys anything, authenticity is how you'll rise. There's three words that I live by, and that's respect, loyalty, and courage. And those are the three most important words in my life. If you can have the courage to be authentic every single day, not worrying about what people are going to say about you, what they think about your trainings. Not everybody's going to love you. Not everybody's going to hate you. As long as you touch one life, I always say you win. If you can, give the people and your supporters and your family and your loved ones the loyalty that they deserve, right, then they're going to continue to spread your word. Stay loyal to the ones that are loyal to you. The respect is on all levels of my life. I learned late in life, I think as we all do, that when you respect someone and you have massive gratitude for what's already in your life and you respect that specific scenario, that elevating is inevitable. Because once you're comfortable with who you are, and that one that I posted, stop playing the victim, is, I saw so many people online that were posting stuff, and me, I'm pretty raw, and I say what I need to say. But I always want to do it on a respectful level. But that one, when you can respect yourself enough in tough situations and actually begin to take responsibility for the choice you made rather than playing the victim or get defensive, I want to be clear, play the victim and get defensive. They just go hand in hand because for some people it's very difficult to take. And I think if you talk to my coach, she would tell you that the minute she tells me to do something, I don't question it, I just do it. Because not everything that Danelle tells me is going to be perfect, right? Although it has been so far, but not everything she tells me is going to be perfect, right? And I know that. But I have to have faith in that person that is my coach to say, hey, this is what you need to do to thrive. This is how I want you to live your life. You've got to change this, and that. You have to live your life full of gratitude. You have to change some habits. You have to create this atmosphere and this lifestyle, but you've got to do it through authenticity. So I saw people kind of skipping steps in life when COVID came out, and as a lot of them already did. But most importantly, they would always play the victim. Oh, this sucks. Now I can't work. And no, you can. You just need to figure out how to make money a different way. If COVID was here for the next 7 years, would you just sit there and be broke? Or would you figure out a way to make money? The problem is that some people are taking this as a vacation. And, it's okay if you're spending quality time with the ones that you love. It's not okay if you're not doing something to better yourself. So when I started these lives, it was like, again, it was divine intervention for me. It was like my father looking down and saying, hey, you need to go live. It was Danelle kicking me in the ass and saying, Todd, it's time people see your face more on a live perspective so they can talk to you because you have it in you to touch lives. And when I speak, I necessarily, and I didn't, and I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to be very, very upfront and frank, I didn't think that me going live would reach as many people as it has, because I again, when you go live, as you're putting yourself out there like, man, it's 4 people going to watch, 15, and then numbers started rising and the shares, the messages started coming. Dude, I was just full of gratitude. It had zero to do with money. I'm not charging for these lives. They're absolutely free. These trainings, I charge thousands of dollars for. I'm giving thousands of dollars of information for free because I want people to come out and go, you know what? I gained knowledge during COVID, and I'm going to come out better, stronger, smarter, faster, more resilient because Todd took the time to do this. I don't need a pat on the back. I just want to know that you're winning. So that's been my goal for the live.
And I want to thank you publicly for that because, I know that you are touching so many lives. I know how you touch lives. I know that personally. So, anybody that's watching this right now, be aware of the fact that we'll put the information in here so that you can follow Todd. You can be there and get the information. And if by chance you're in another live at the same time, because there are a lot of them going live right now, that's what replay is all about. You do not have to miss anything on this platform. And that's one of the things I love about Facebook. In truth, as much as anybody, because you were my coach, that is why I believe, along with some of the other strategies that we put into play, that I won the Next Impactor because it was a matter of, and truthfully, the thing that I will also piggyback on what you shared, and that is anybody that is considering going live, really consider it, because don't overthink it. as I share other people's stories, and I tried to share as many of the, I put the invitation out there, as many of the next impactors that were running, if you will, against me on the same platform. And it was not to make anybody look any better than anybody else. It was because sincerely, that was the right thing to do. And it was the right platform for it. And that authenticity is what I kept hearing from people, is that when you're going after it in an authentic way, it's going to always win. That will always win. And I love replay is what Wanda is saying. Wanda Reynolds. Yes.
Great individual, man. It was awesome to meet her down on Unstoppable. There were so many good people there, but you're right. Look, these lives, I was, I'm competitive, right? I like to win. I think we all do that are out there. If we don't, we're definitely lying to ourselves. But we definitely, and when you're going live, since we're on that subject, you are putting yourself out there for the world. There are going to be people that are going to hate on you, love you. There's going to be people that are going to get some great information from it. As long as you're giving valuable information, and it could be easy as, how to brush your hair. There's so many things out there. People are making millions of dollars on YouTube and stuff for, right, where it can become a business. If you're looking to impact lives, put yourself out there, because here's what I'll tell you. I caught myself last Wednesday when I had like 50 or 60 people watching for an hour and 20 minutes. I was upset because my previous ones were 90 to 100 people watching and a lot more shares, et cetera. So I called Danelle. I was like, dude, I'm mad. I was like, 50 or 60, I only got 50 or 60 people watching my live. Like, I'm so upset right now. There's only 40 shares and there's only this. And she's like, you're so spoiled. What do you mean? She goes, dude, you're crushing it. She goes, do you know how hard it is to get 50 to 60 people to watch a live for an hour and 20 minutes? Because here's what we like to do as salespeople and coaches. We like to talk. So she says 40 minutes max that has gone over an hour every single time. And man, I looked back and I was like, golly, like I am so grateful. So grateful for the people that literally step up and watch this and get value from it. Because more importantly than the people watching, when you put yourself out there, if they share it to one person, that person shares it to one person, you are touching so many lives, man. If you get one person watching your live, but you'll never grow until you take the chance to actually go out and do something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So talking about value, I want to go into this. Okay, you know what? Before we do that, okay, bear with me, guys. This cracked me up. Okay, this shows his sense of humor too. Okay, this is on his stuff. Okay, yes. I was thinking, your nose. If they look like this, you don't need one of those masks. So that's funny. I love it. And we were talking about your daughter and her sense of humor and everything, and how she's spending a lot of time with you. Look at that face, guys. Look at those two faces. And this is where, when you were saying, proud of people sharing more of the family stuff and things like that. And I will say this though, and this is getting a little serious, guys, because there's those of us that have been in this situation. There are some due to protection situations, and personal situations that might have a dangerous element to it, that sometimes you don't always put your family pictures out there. And if that is the case, do not feel bad about it, because that's a choice. And I want that to be known, because there are plenty of those people, especially within my community, that have been in certain situations that they choose not to do that. That is okay too. You can still have a sense of humor. So with that, let's go on. I wanted to bring that image up that I shared for a moment there a minute ago. Let me just grab it. Here it is. Now, you had said, because I asked and you said no, that others had been sending it to you, but and I can't blow it up the way that this app is, guys, that I can blow it up bigger where we can still be visiting about it. But you can screen share and then you can blow it up. So there you go. That's how you guys will get this and make it bigger. But this is I love this. Why don't you talk us through this a little bit and educate us on this?
Yeah. So, when I started receiving this, like you asked me before we started, did you put this together? And I said, no, it was crazy. I actually started getting random. Somebody must have posted it like a week ago or created it a week ago or so, because or 10 days ago, whatever the time frame was. And I was getting a bunch of messages online. It was like, this reminded me of you, and they would circle the growth zone, you know, and this reminds me of you. And I was like, man, first of all, again, super grateful that people would think of me in that manner. Number one, I got to live your life through massive gratitude. But to break down this thing, and I can't really see it either because it's a little small, but it was talking about, and that's okay, but we'll talk about it a little bit. You know, I read through it, and the difference between, you know, comfort zones and being kind of, you know, lazy or reactive based on crises that happen, and put yourself in this kind of calming zone, right? Or you could choose to grow. And when I started seeing people on that growth side, right, I started realizing, like, damn, that's cool. That's me. That's Tamara. That's J6. That's Danelle. That's this. And I'm going down that line. And then I go back and I started naming people that are in the middle one. I was like, oof, well, they're close. And then I started naming the people in the third. I'm going, man, these people need to get their ass to work. Because here's what happens, right? When you receive a graph like that and you look at it, it really opens your eyes up a little bit. And if that doesn't kind of change, and I encourage every one of you to look at that graph, because if that graph is large enough for you guys to read it or go to the post wherever it is, really take some time and dissect it. But you always want to be on the outside in that growth zone every single day of your life, no matter what, at any level. I mean, you talk about Jason Cisneros, a guy knows the streets. He's an intelligent guy. He still learns every single day. You took a look at Danelle Delgado, one of the most successful people, crushes the 10X stages with Cardone every single year. One of the best coaches I would say the best coach on the planet. You know, I feel like there's people like that are out there that, dude, they don't, it's crazy how many times my coach would go, damn, that was really good. I'm going to use that, you know, because we learn from each other, right? A coach mainly for accountability and to help you grow. So that graph really just kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of things. I was like, man, if people could just live on this graph, if you have that every day on your mirror and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of falling this way, I need to go over here. That accountability factor or something like that is huge. I
printed it out, and we'll put it in the comments, and so that you guys can get it too. And because you're right, it's the, you know, the fear zone, the learning zone, and the growth zone. You want to be in that growth zone. And you know, I have to say, in preparing for our time today, again, thank you for being who you are. Because as I was preparing, I had to make some tough choices today. Some really, really, really tough choices. And I made them because we need to just say, okay, this is the time, and we're going to go into this. This is the time right now that we can, you know, that we can be you, and you know, and we can find the fact that we are either wasting our time or we're finding value in our time. We're doing something with our time, you know, that's going to make a difference. And this is what I'm seeing, a common theme in a lot of the stuff for today and talking with you, because we're looking at today. What is today? It is about the date, the time we're in. We have, with this graph that we were just looking at, we have our moments, and we have to make choices of what we're going to do with those moments. Just like those two little things that we brought up, your two little thought processes. Are we going to live in fear? Are we going to find that, you know, and are we going to blame, or are we going to find the courage within? Are we going to be more proactive and share the good stuff rather than the woe is me and what's happening? And this is a time and place that we can say, okay, we have so many hours in the day. Same thing we had before all of this was happening. We you know, that hasn't changed. It might be what it looks like it's changed. However, we still need to make those choices. And you have done that. You have done that. And you're sitting in the middle of that even right now. Let's talk about what you're doing with your time, Coach Todd.
Sure. Yeah. So I was, you know, when I wrote, I was asked to write that article, and I'll be honest with you, I've written a couple books, and I've had a third one coming out. I don't consider myself a writer, you know what I mean? But I am, you know, I had to accept the fact, because I love to just pour my passion into words and hope that it touches lives. You know, it's funny because a lot of the books that you see behind me have touched my life in a lot of ways, but, you know, in many cases, you know, well, in all cases, time is your most valuable commodity. That's it. And I think people take for granted that time. You know, it's like, you get in an argument with a loved one, don't go to bed mad, because what if they don't wake up? That article, if you want to put that in the comments, I really wish you would.
I will share that. Yes.
When I wrote that article, I took bits and pieces of things that I had heard and put this together. And it went a very, very long way, that article. And I was very proud of it, because when I started doing the statistics and the research on time, I said to myself, like, wow, this stuff is crazy. Like, you don't know how important, a millisecond is, unless you just missed getting in that car accident, right? You were just 1 millisecond away. Otherwise it was you that could have died. You don't understand the, importance of of 1 minute, when, a baby comes out of the womb and a mother loses that baby within that first 30 seconds through health issues and stuff like that. You don't understand the importance of time, when you've worked your entire life to do something, and you end up going in the military and you're sacrificing your life, and that one move, that one, again, 1 second or 2 second move got you killed or didn't get you killed, and someone else next to you. The value of time is not in those very, very crucial moments. The value of time is every day. It's every second. I wrote a post the other day that said moments matter. I want to start keeping things very simple, because moments matter. And what happens is that we just think, oh, there's always tomorrow, or I'll start working out on Monday. And you talked about time and what am I doing with mine? Well, since October, I was 229 pounds, and I was very, very chunky. And I'll just call it what it is. I was fat. And, at my height, because I'm only 5'9", I'm a very wide guy, right? So when I gain weight, it's all here and it's in my stomach, and in my face. I gain a lot in my face. And so I started thinking to myself, like, I'm preaching to the world how to value time, but yet I'm not taking the steps that I need to do in order to be successful utilizing time. And if I'm not doing it, why would anybody want me to be their coach if I don't live what I preach? So I changed a lot of things in my life. I said, okay, here's the deal. I go into major corporations and I do large sales training. I have big consulting packages where I go in and I just look at budget analysis. I sit down with CEO, CMO, and I basically, this is what you guys need to do to change everything and to just increase your efficiency. This is what I do. I created a program that was unbelievable that I've been pushing off for a very long time. I got in better shape. I am now 193 pounds from 229. So, I've lost 36 pounds. I couldn't be happier. The energy is there, which I want to tell you this real quick, and I'm just going to say this really fast, is that when physical and mental health is the most important thing in your life. When you're physically healthy, you exercise, you aren't as mentally challenged, right? Like when you're physical and you're actually exercising in the slightest form, okay, when you do that, you are elevating yourself mentally. You don't know it, but if you get on the treadmill for a couple minutes, or you're going to be in a mental good state of mind, right? And then if you are challenging yourself mentally, listen to things, at least 30, 45 minutes a day to help excel, whether it's sales training, whether it's, reading a book, whether it's listening to an audio. It doesn't matter what you do. You've got to take that time to grow. So during this downtime, for some, I'm thriving. And the reason why I'm thriving is because I made a list, and over here. There we go. Okay. Danelle's book right there, I Choose Joy, right? That book, I want to be clear, it's a journal. Okay. Like Danelle will tell you, she's like, look, it's a journal. She's like, I took the best practices of all the richest and most successful people on the planet. I said, what are they doing that's constant and consistent? And she goes, and I just put it in a book. That's what she did, right? Because if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if the people in the world that are successful enough to do it, that's fine. But here's what she really got me. In that book, which I can show you, but there's like 10 things of gratitude you have to list every day. Okay. 3 goals for the day, what it's going to take to accomplish those goals. Right. And I've actually added one, because at the bottom it says, what did you do to complete those goals? Right. Well, I've also added one in mine at night. So I do that in the morning or like early afternoon. And then at night, I put down at least one thing that I'm grateful for that happened that day. Because the following day, we're going to think of 10 new things. I get it. Okay. But what if you had a bad day? You've got to train your mind to go, okay, I know it was bad, but this is the good that came out of it. And I always teach people to fail is so important to you coming up, but how you do that. So in that book, I put in there, you got to find the good in the fail. You got to find the good in the bad days. And then you have to find the lesson. So find the good in the fail, find the lesson in the fail. And that's what I do every day. I've created a studio, which I'm actually in now. The studio is pretty cool. For those of you who kind of see it, I've got, all sorts of TVs up and different bookshelves. I have a recording room that's right behind me there. I've got a tall table there, so when I'm doing some lives, it can be like a news anchor kind of setup. I'm going to be doing audiobooks. There's my media station over there. I'm going to be doing some more motivational videos like I had on my YouTube page. I started doing a couple of years ago. We're going to start revamping that. I have a list of things I do every day to keep my time busy. And the most important one is the lives that I do on Wednesday and Sunday that are zero cost to people. I prepare, people don't realize it, but I prepare all week for those lives because I want to just give great information. Some are going to be better than others, as you know, with our lives. But again, if you get one thing out of them, that's a win. So when I wrote that article and we're talking about time, Tamara, let me tell you something. If people aren't valuing their time, just every moments matter. They're sacrificing the opportunity to become everything that they could have ever become. That's the fact.
I completely concur with you 100%. And I want to recognize we have one of the co-creators of the Next Impactor with us, Lauren Harris. He's joined us, and everybody's been really loving what you've been sharing here. I want to respect your time. I want to go into what is the next steps for you, because and in truth, you've got me so motivated, like you do, and so I want to talk to you offline here,
Yeah.
And the fact that you took this environment, and I asked you, I said, okay, this was my question, guys. Is that a room in your house with a walk-in closet? And your answer, I want you to answer me again live, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, okay, can I create one of those too?
Yeah. So as I was showing you guys, I'm also going to show you behind me here. So if you look up top here, I don't know if can you see it or no?
Yes, we can see it. He'll come back. All right, guys. Here, let me just make myself here. He'll be back in just a moment. I'm sure you're getting as much value out of this as I am right now. And if you guys have any last minute questions for Todd when he gets back in here, please post them in the comments. Also share this out, because he is going live twice a week, and you see what he's doing to prepare for these lives. Let's help with numbers, so that he sees that he's getting the value out of being here with us on as a Tarot. So here he comes again, and we will just go right back. Oh my goodness, I won't flip him next time, because I don't know if that's what's booting him out. All right, so he'll be back in just a moment again. As we start to get this together and close, I want to share a couple of other things that I had pulled in regards to him, and just let you know that this guy is serious. Oh, here he is. Let's bring him back to the line. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take me off of the line for a few minutes, so you have the full screen so that you can share instead of flipping you. I don't know if that is why you're dropping. So I'll be back in a minute.
It's okay. I just wanted to show people so in the studio, I took this was a mother-in-law suite in my house. Okay. When I built this house, my wife and I wanted to put together something where I could build a studio to do things that I wanted to do. I have a 22-year-old daughter. She lived here for a little bit. Then we had a friend of ours that their daughter needed a place to stay, so I gave them this room as well. Again, always serving as best we can. And then when I got the opportunity, I took the chance to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I have a lot input, built in this room. Hopefully I don't lose you here. We'll go slow. But up there those are backdrops. Okay. You got green screen, gray screen, white screen, black screen. I can do photography in this room. I can do videography. I can record things. I go into my soundproof walk-in closet, which what I did is I just made it, took all the soundproof panels and we glued them up. So it's the deadens the sound. I've got a microphone in there to record stuff. I've got desks on rollers, so I can roll in one one desk and roll out the other one. The TV's behind me. I can do like an ad up here, another ad over here. I can put, my stuff on this one while people are watching. When I built this studio, it's literally to help my brand, help my business. But again, based on a service level impacting lives, because there's not enough stuff out there that people are creating that I think is I'll tell you this, anytime someone does anything to help someone, it's a win. Number one. Yes. Okay. I want to say that first. Okay. Do I think that there are things that need some revamping? Yes, because there are some software and some sales training and some life training and some coaches out there that are giving information from 15, 20 years ago, where the videos that they're playing they've got long hair and now they're short hair. Like it's like, dude, update your stuff, because the sales process hasn't changed, but the client has. So, we've got to kind of update ourselves in our lives, whether it be marketing, branding, opening up a business. So I created this studio because I'm going to be doing a lot of sales training courses. I have one launching next week that is just insane. Like, I mean, I bought thousands and thousands of dollars of sales, and I dissected every one of them. It's been over a year and a half in the making. This sales course is going to be like $1,500 to do like just to be with me in person. I'm just going to do it in person, which is cheap as hell. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer it to people for like $500. You know what I mean? I'm allowed them to make a couple payments, $250 each. You can do once a month, whatever. I want to make it such a no-brainer, because the problem with the offers that people are putting out there is that they're way too expensive for the information they're giving. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to be very clear. I pay my coach thousands of dollars. Okay. This is, I want to be very clear. Okay. It's worth every single penny, because what we don't realize is that the money that we invest in ourselves. And I always tell people this, if you have money, would you invest it? Of course. If you had money, you'd probably buy real estate, buy everything. But have you ever heard the phrase, it takes money to make money? Okay. Well, I'm trying to give that opportunity for everyone at a level that they can afford, so they can take that little amount of money, invest it in themselves, and skyrocket. Because what happens is people are charging 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 grand. Do I have consulting packages that expensive? Absolutely. But if I can add value for $500 and actually create habits, teach you how to be a master closer, do it from an honesty standpoint, and really change your life on all levels, but give you accountability. It's not, I'm telling you, it's unheard of out there for what you get. It's an 8-week course. It's 2 months. It's an 8-week course. And I'm sitting there and you're dealing with me on live, right? And yeah. I'm training it personally, which I got to tell you, I don't do for $500. You know what I mean? So this is going to be an unbelievable thing. And what people get from it is going to be outstanding. And I got to tell you, am I doing this to make money? You're damn right. I want to be rich just like everybody else. But when you give value that supersedes the cost on multiple levels, I'm telling you right now, it may not be me, it may be someone else. Invest in yourself, because when you spend money on yourself, you're going to pay more attention to it. Because I can't tell you how many times that I hear people go, man, I was looking for a lot of free webinars and free trainings. First of all, the free webinars and free trainings are usually which they call they're a drip. Okay, they're kind of talking you into getting their program. It's a free thing to help you get to their program. Okay, again, that's okay. Drip some sales stuff in there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what funnels are for and all that stuff. But when you actually go out and just go, look, it's $500. It's $250 a month. You can pay it all at once. You can pay it too. I don't care. But the value you're getting out of this is crazy. So I don't need to play games and tell you it's X amount of dollars. You're not going to receive value. What I want to do is give you an opportunity just to thrive. And what happens is the free stuff that I invested myself into, I never paid attention to. Because when you pay for it, trust me when I tell you, if you're paying any money into something, you're going to do the program and you're going to make sure you get your value out of it. So again, for a lot of you that are in the coaching world and providing a service or a product that you're afraid to charge or you're afraid to call, and all your friends are like, oh man, I'm your friend, do it for free. Let me tell you something, okay? Don't. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is feeding in to a mediocrity standpoint where they're just going to be stagnant and continue to be lazy because they're not taking any money and investing in themselves. You've got to invest money and time into yourself in order to succeed. So that sales training program is all of this, why I built this, and it's just the beginning, and it's at a fraction of the cost that you're going to find anywhere else, and the information is probably 3 times as valuable.
Well, you know what I'm getting out of it too, just truthfully and watching everything that you just shared with us, and it just shows. Look at the quality of that room and how thought out it is. Because I'm very detailed. I look at all the little stuff,
Yeah.
and every little thing. Even like I'm thinking, even like my setup here. I'm thinking genius on wheels. Why didn't I think of that? Simple things, because I also have, I have drape system and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
this, but on wheels, oh my goodness, that's perfect. And
Yeah.
little things like that can make a big difference. And your quality of what you just shared with us in preparing for something so, if you will, reasonable, that they can work with you for 8 weeks. That's incredible. So I'm grateful that it all worked out this way, because I didn't know the timing on how perfect it was. I just said, I need to get a hold of him, because I know he's out there giving value right now during this time where people need to have a calm voice and a little bit of chuckles, a little giggling here and there, a little bit of laughter, and a lot of meat. And you're doing all of that, Coach. What is it that you would like to, as we round this out, and as we close up now, what would you like, a nugget, something that you'd like to leave everybody with? What are your words of wisdom you'd like to share with them?
Start. It's very simple, because too many people talk about doing things. It's time to start, because there's a big difference in going on and watching a live and taking this information, but doing something with that information is much more important than trying to just take it in. Because you got people like yourself and Lauren and Jason and Melissa Hull and Danelle Delgado, and there's so many amazing. Joe Callow is, to me, one of the best human beings on the planet. Joe and Ashley are just unbelievable people. People don't. Joe is a kind of behind the scenes guy. Okay, he's not doing lives and all this. That's Jason, right? Jason does really well at that. He's phenomenal. He's an unbelievable human being. That's what he does, right? Joe, let me tell you something. Joe is probably one of the most talented guys out there. And Joe looked at me one day. He's like, "Bro, when are you just gonna jump? When are you just gonna do it?" We were on a boat in Unstoppable. Me, Paul Blanchard, Danelle, Joe, Ashley, and Dr. B. Right.
Right.
We're sitting there and we're on a boat and we're enjoying the sunset and Unstoppable. And he looks at me and goes, "Dude, when are you just going to jump? When are you going to start?" And I thought to myself, I was like, God, it's like, it's crazy how one word, start.
Yeah.
It can just change your life.
Yeah.
And he was right. He's so smart when it comes to business building and branding, which is the reason why he's partnering Anton Jay. But he's such an intelligent guy that when he looked at me as a friend, not for $1, he looked at me and goes, when are you going to start? Like, he's like, you don't know this. He goes, because I can see it in you. And one of my better qualities that I didn't know that I have is I don't know how I touch people's lives a lot. Like, I just speak my truth, and I'm hoping that people, they hear it. That's what I hope, right? He's like, dude, let me tell you something. When you speak, people listen. Period. He goes, that's a gift. He goes, a lot of people don't have that. But for me to take that in, it's very tough for me, because I want to be very, 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 very humble and grateful my whole life. But what Danelle has taught me in combination with that is that I deserve this. You have to come from a standpoint to say, I'm going to start because I deserve this. And when you truly start and you truly believe that you deserve more, you will absolutely shred your goals. You will reach levels that you've never, ever thought of before because of one word, start, not being stagnant. Don't talk about it. I've been working 17 hours a day for the past 3 weeks between fitness, my home projects, and my sales training course because I will never offer anything that doesn't have mad value. So my wife goes, dude, you don't even sleep. And my wife's like, Todd, how do you do this? I don't even get it. And I go, babe, I don't know, because my mind, it goes like this. Because once I chose to start, my mind was like, okay, you wanted it, here you go. So
you're all in. The mind's like totally bought in.
Oh yeah, and that's the truth. You have to be bought in. So there's 2 things I'll leave you with. One is start. Stop talking about it and absolutely start. The other one is you have to start, but you also have to believe, truly believe in your heart and your soul that you deserve this. You deserve to live the life that you were meant to live. So start and believe that you're meant to start.
Well, you got me believing and you got me starting. And I mean, and truthfully, even just doing the homework today, because you're always bringing some more value. And I know this guy, this is my coach. And yet, you know, constantly I'm getting more and more value from being around you. So I want to say thank you. And as we close today, April the 17th, 2020, the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome Celebration Success through Service. Todd Speciale, you are definitely a service hero, as we have definitely defined again today. You are motivating, you are helping us to see how important time is, how critically important family and friends and those that mean something to our hearts, that we need to really recognize them. And then also we need to see what is it that we believe our life should look like, and are we ready to start? I know I am. I'm sure there's so many that are saying, yes, me too, I'm ready, I'm in. So please, let's put in all the information afterwards that they can get a hold of you. I will tag these pieces that I already promised that I would get to you guys, and so that you can print off and get them and review them, because my goodness, the value you've given us this hour has been tremendous. Thank you so very much.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I wish all of you massive success, full love. And again, the only way you need to live your life is to be full of gratitude every single day. And I promise you, you'll thrive. So I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.